Hi guys, Rishi Sunak's speech in the House of Commons on Tuesday was a disgusting display of Farage pandering politics. The Tories are so desperate to keep the racists and bigots from jumping to UKIP or the Reform UK party that they're willing to use toxic rhetoric and inhumane policies, all in order to hold on to as many seats as possible. While the Conservatives have used the issue of immigration to separate themselves from the Labour Party, they fear that the far right will outdo them. Rishi Sunak, a child of immigrants himself, is now sounding more like a member of the National Front by the day. But this attempt to weaponise asylum seekers was perfectly called out by Labour MP Chi Onwurah. Have a listen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When my mother fled war and famine in Biafra in the 60s with her 3 small children, the cargo plane on which we were travelling, that was the only form of transport available, landed first in Lisbon, which was the only country that recognised Biafra at the time. Does the Prime Minister think that we should have been obliged to remain in that safe, relatively safe country? Or does he agree with my mother that it was better to travel on to Newcastle, where my grandmother was?
Mr. Speaker, this country has and always will have a proud tradition of welcoming people here. And what we need to make sure is that we can do that. And we can't do that if our system is under unsustainable pressure from people who shouldn't be here. So by having proper control of our borders, by ensuring that we create a deterrent effect for those coming here illegally, we will be in a position so that people do not have to travel through other countries to get here, that we can work with the UN, the Red Cross and others to provide sanctuary for them wherever they are, and in the long run, that is the fairest and most sustainable solution to this problem.
Okay, and of course he didn't answer the question. The question was, would you prefer her mother to travel from Lisbon, from Portugal, or should she have stayed in Portugal? According to his new policy, well, she should stay in Portugal. She shouldn't have travelled. But then Rishi Sunak couldn't say that. And it's so ironic that you have Conservatives supporting this type of policy. You know, it wasn't that long ago when Priti Patel was pushing policies like this as well, where her own parents wouldn't have been able to get into the UK. This is, as I said at the beginning of the video, this is an attempt to pander to the Farage crowd. This is about trying to keep racists and bigots from fleeing the Conservative Party to the likes of UKIP and the Reform UK Party. And look at the amount of effort and time the Conservatives are putting into this. This is not even PMQs. This is just a debate that's been had. This isn't even PMQs. And the Conservative side is pretty full. There are a few gaps, but it's pretty full. Because the Conservatives know that this is a very important issue that they need to deal with, or appear to be dealing with. There's a cost of living crisis. Are they talking about this? Of course not. They don't care about that. They care about this because they know that if they don't shift to the right, they'll end up losing support. And it's disgraceful. This whole debate, this whole presentation from Rishi Sunak was about stopping the boats. I don't know how many times he said we have to stop the boats, stop the boats, stop the boats. The best way to stop the boats is to provide safe channels. But they're not interested in doing that, because if they do, then the far right will say, wait a minute, why are you allowing all these people to come in? You need to be stopping these people. So the Conservatives have created this problem. They haven't funded, they haven't resourced the immigration system enough to deal with the backlog, because they know that they've used it as a weapon against the Labour Party. But now they're in a bit of a fix, because if they try to fix the problem, they're going to be blamed by the far right for wasting money on this, because they don't actually have the resources available, and you can't train people up to deal with the backlog overnight. So, and if people are coming into the country, you have to put them somewhere, so you end up putting them in hotels, which pisses off the far right and the racists and bigots, and is used as a weapon by the likes of Nigel Farage against the Tories. And the Tories are always firefighting this issue. So they're afraid to actually deal with it properly, because then they can't use it as a weapon against the Labour Party. But then if they use it properly, they're going to get blamed by the far right for wasting money and putting people up in hotels until the backlogs are dealt with. It's pretty pathetic. All, of course, during a cost of living crisis, which the Tories are completely ignoring. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.